Mostly life gets so easy when you're on GLP-1, but there's a few things you may want to consider having to make sure that your journey is successful. Would you like to learn more about the topics that were discussed today? Join us at radicallyhealthy.com, where we're combining lifestyle with other tools to add to our toolbox. We have many offerings, from a free community to a private community and even one-on-one support. Hope to see you there. All right, you guys, today we're going to go into the must-haves from Amazon on your GLP-1 journey. So the first thing is to just keep it really basic, okay? So first, you may want to have some extra syringes on hand. They do send you, when you get compounded medication, they send you syringes. However, if you are a sensitive person and you end up needing to split your dose, you may want to order extra. It is very easy. They are such tiny little needles that you may bend some. And so it's really nice to have extra on hand, because if you bend some, now you're missing your medication. So it's really good to have extra syringes on hand. The ones I personally really love are the Easy Touch. They are very sharp and very thin. I like the 31 gauge. It's about 5/16 of an inch. And I usually buy the 1 cc. So when we're looking at sizes, gauge, the bigger the gauge, the smaller the needle. Often you will get these from the companies and they kind of are a peel open package. Those are often 30 gauge. And because it's a slightly bigger needle, we can feel the poke more. I really like 31. So these are the ones that I have been getting. Everything that I have been ordering, there will be links down in the description so you can easily access it. One thing you want to be really careful of on Amazon, and they do a great job of trying to prevent this, but any old person, how do I know? Because I've been the person, can become an Amazon associate person that fills orders. And you do have to work into certain areas like health, and they do different things to try to monitor it, but there are ways around it. And you can easily YouTube how to get around it. Like, for example, supplementations and medical supplies, there's ways to get around it. So you want to be careful that you're ordering directly from a company that created it or a company that is an actual supply company and not Gledhill Inc. out of their garage. Not that we ever did anything shady, because we didn't, but I'm just saying it's possible. Okay, so I love these because I love the 31. I love how smooth they are to go in. So I personally always buy the 1 cc. And the packaging doesn't always say this on it, but cc equals milliliter. So 1 cc equals 1 ml. You could also get 0.3 cc, also known as 0.3 ml, or 0.5 cc, 0.5 ml. Those are totally fine too. Often we are injecting such little amounts, but sometimes as we're dosing up and maybe we're in less potent vials, you could end up injecting 100 units. And so you wouldn't want to use a smaller, a 0.3 or a 0.5, because you'd have to inject yourself multiple times. So I just go ahead and buy the 1 ml every time. So these are the ones I like. You know, the gauge can go from 20 to 32. And I think to feel less, you want to go up. Another thing I want to say, we always call these injections. I want to call it pinning, because when you think of injection, you think of like a vaccination, and that's going to be deep into your arm. But these are it's just like a pinning of your skin a little bit. So anyway, these are the ones that I really enjoy. And so, okay. Next, I think it's really good to have sterile vials on hand. There's a couple reasons you might want a sterile vial. One is that when you order certain peptides that you have to constitute yourself, although, by the way, none of this is medical advice, it'll come in this teeny tiny vial. And a really good example of this is BPC 157. You'll get this little tiny vial, which means you can only add a little tiny bit of liquid to it. But you're just taking little bits of it twice a day. And so there could be 40 doses in this little tiny vial, which means you could be pulling 2-3 units on a syringe. So there's 100 units in this one. You could be pulling to the 2 line out of 100. And if you can imagine, there can be an air bubble. So it's very difficult to accurately pull every single time, consistently and accurately, when you're only pulling to the 1 or the 2 line. This is such little bits. So you may want to move it to a bigger vial, add some bactostatic water, also known as reconstitution solution, so that it's easier for you to measure. Another reason would be you'd be on name brand. And again, this is not medical advice, but it is possible. There are doctors, if you search doctor split dose, one doctor will come up and he shows how, without ever touching any of the medications, you're not contaminating it, you could put the solution in here, add some water, and then split the dose, because for some people, the standard dosing pen can be just a little bit too much and cause them side effects. So those are some reasons you'd want a sterile vial. Okay, let's talk about doing everything right. Doing everything right means you should sterilize. It takes about 10 seconds to sterilize the top of a vial and 10 seconds to sterilize your skin. So I love having alcohol wipes on hand for that. My group knows I'm not the best about actually getting that done, but I want to tell you why you need to do that. Because it's very common for your skin to have staph, strep, and other bacteria on the surface. So if you introduce that to your peptide, you're more likely to end up with a bacteria growth or a contamination, making the peptide no longer good. So you want to sterilize the top, sterilize the skin. They do often send this with your prescription, but I never think it's bad to have extra on hand. I like personally, if I am helping someone else, to make sure I'm sterilized. If I'm doing any constitution, the area is sterilized, and just ensuring that we're not introducing anything into the vial that we wouldn't want to, just to be on top of it. Another really good one is you're on this journey, maybe you're new, maybe you're not, and you want to understand more, or you want people around you to understand. Like, people often in the family don't understand. They think you're cheating. They think you're just taking a toxic drug. They think you're harming yourself. And so something great that you can do for yourself and your family is get Decoding GLP-1 by Dave. He has a YouTube channel on the pen. Highly suggest this book. I personally bought like 6 copies, and I give them away to people because I want to support my friend. And also, I think it's just a great book. It goes into history, it goes into science, and it just really explains GLP-1 to people who don't understand it. So that's another great one to have on hand. Okay. Next important thing is a safety item. And this is what I've had. I actually bought a 3-pack because when you fill them, you got to do something. This is a sharps container. So this is great. You're not supposed to throw your sharps away. They could hurt other people. They could puncture your bag. They could, spread bloodborne illnesses or whatever. And in many places, it's actually illegal to throw your sharps in the garbage can. So you want to get a sharps container, and then you want to bring it. You don't want to recycle it, and you don't want to throw it away. You want to bring it to a hospital, a clinic, a pharmacy. There are some mail-in programs that you could use. Some local places will have like biohazard disposal, and some of those places will take these sharps containers. So you want to ensure you are disposing of your sharps properly. I recently upgraded, thanks to a group member, and this isn't going to work everywhere because some places, apparently, I don't know who's checking your garbage cans or your containers, but some people require that you give the syringe with the needle on it. But I think that's kind of rare. So I recently upgraded because this thing fills up fast, and then you're driving around disposing of these all the time. So instead, I got the clipper, and this will hold between a 28 and a 32 gauge. So this isn't going to hold intramuscular needles that are often a 23 gauge, but it'll hold between 3/16 and 1 inch, and you just put it in. I actually haven't used it yet because I just received it, but I'm really excited about it because this should save me a lot of trips. What the heck? Okay, I'll put the mic down for a sec. Okay, so there's a little tiny hole. Stick it in the hole, and now technically you could put this in the garbage because it's no longer a needle. So but I will probably, since I already have these containers, just do that. But now I know, I guess you could technically since there are no needles, you could potentially put that in the garbage. This holds up to 3,000 needles, meaning I only need to go to the clinic or the pharmacy to dispose of these once every 3,000. So that's several years. It's a long time. Again, it can hold up to 1 inch needles. So this is a recent upgrade that I got myself. Okay, the next very important thing that everybody should have are vial openers. And why? Because when you get to the bottom of a vial and you flip it over, you will often not be able to pull those last droplets out. So you don't want to do this until you're to the end, because once you pop that open, this vial's done for. You're not putting it back in the fridge. It's open air. It's not going to be safe at all. So once you get to the bottom and you can't get that last drop out, you can take the vial opener, pop the top off, and get those last droplets out. Now, my first vial, I did make a mistake of opening it too early, And I didn't want to waste any of it, so I pulled it all into a vial and I took it. There's other things you could do. This is not medical advice, but if that happens to you, you could pull the excess into, and this isn't a standard good protocol, but you could pull the rest of it. You could take what you're supposed to take and the rest of it, pull it into a second syringe, cap it, put it in the fridge till it's time. But again, not medical advice. So I really like this because the stuff is expensive. So don't waste a drop, literally a drop. There are all these reels out there of people who threw away their remainder, and it's like, wow, what privilege you have because I paid hundreds of dollars for that. So don't waste a drop. You got to get a vial opener. Okay, next, we're going to talk about traveling with peptides. So the first thing I did was actually just buy these little freezer things. They're pretty cheap, like $5.99. The price change all the time, but in essence, it's in that region, okay? And you would just put that in any insulated thermos you already own. And why you want these instead of just putting ice in there is when you go through TSA, if the ice has melted, and this has happened to me, so I know this is true. If the ice has melted, they will not let you through. They will not let liquid through. And what they did was they said, either we throw this whole vial away because you're not allowed to go through this with liquid, or you go back in line, you dump it back there, and you come back through with only ice, only frozen ice, not melted ice. So that's why I like these, because these are TSA approved. They've never had an issue with them. And then we don't run into that issue where my family is sitting there waiting for me as I go through, because I'm not going to throw away $600 worth of peptide. Now, just as a general note, other than that melted ice, have never had an issue going through TSA with peptides. That's me, and that's the same thing I've read with other people. Okay, I recently upgraded my situation though, because my concern here was that it would get very lukewarm. And so I'm wondering, and then the next thing was in the vial, because I'm just using this one right here, I couldn't keep all my peptides in here. And so I wanted an upgrade. So I recently got this fancy guy, okay? This guy has 6 layers of insulation. It has, let me see, I just received this for my next trip. Oh, there we go. It will keep it's rechargeable. It will tell you the internal temperature, so you know you're between 36 and 46. It has 2 TSA-approved humongous reusable ice packs. So again, we're not dealing with the melted ice situation. See, it's beautiful. There's like really nice insulation in there. There's the thermometer. It has a huge 3-part organizer in here to hold your different peptides and supplies. So the issue I was having with the BPC 157, the TB 500, I was taking cagrilintide, trizepatide, I was taking NAD plus and glutathione, and it just didn't fit in my thermos. But look at all this storage and look how organized I can stay and keep it nice and cold. So this can hold a lot. It also has a nice hard case, so nothing's going to break my vials. So this is my new upgrade, and can't wait. It's big enough to hold more things and keep them cold, but it's not big enough that it's going to take up my whole backpack, and it's not that heavy. So I highly suggest you upgrade yourself as well and just travel with ease and know that your peptides are staying cold and good, and that when you get home, they'll still be good. Okay, for home, I actually just dropped it on the ground, 1 sec. For home, I have 2 different things that I use. So one is I like these handmade vial holders because it's nice and sleek. It's not super tall, and so it fits really well. It's also sturdy, so I know my glass vials, those glass vials are very, very thin, not going to break. And it just fits it perfectly. Very, very sturdy, keeps it out of the light. So I'm going to put some of these down in the description. What I don't like about this is that it only takes the specific vial size. There's no flexibility. So if I have a 10 milliliter vial, it's not going to fit in here. So ultimately, this is the guy I've always used. And again, it's keeping the peptides out of the light because light degrades them. It's somewhat hard, so it's keeping them safe. But what I like is that this one is made out of foam. Oh, I opened it upside down. Oh, the peptides. It's made out of foam, so it's flexible to the different vial sizes. And what I do, which I didn't do it right now, and I think it fell underneath because I did something funny here, is they give these little things and you can cut them so that it perfectly goes tight around your smaller vials, but then it holds the 10 milliliters as well. So this is a great way to keep your stockpile safe in your fridge. Speaking of fridge, you want to keep your peptides between 36 and 46 degrees is just a general standard. And we live in temporary housing right now with very cheap appliances. And so things freeze in our refrigerator. So I'm keeping my peptides in the front of the butter drawer. And the butter drawer is like right underneath the top shelf. So it's kind of center front in my fridge. But I'm still worried because it's honestly the crappiest refrigerator I've ever seen in my life. So I got the Govee. I don't know if that's how you say it. Govee. I got the Govee temperature and it feeds to my phone. And I set a range in my phone so that if it goes outside that range, it alerts my phone. So even if I'm traveling, I can figure out if my peptides are safe and in the right conditions. So I highly suggest this. I mean, I have thousands. I mean, don't come rob me, please, because please don't do that. I have thousands of dollars worth of peptides in my refrigerator. As I'm a little bit of a doomsday prepper, plus I like to play with things, so I got a lot of different stuff. So I want to ensure that my peptides are safe and good and they're not going to go bad. Also, there was that fear for a while, and there still is a little pending fear of like, will compounding go away? And so I had stockpiled some compounding, and it's all hydrated, constituted, and we want to keep it as good as possible, as that was a lot of money. Okay, let's see what we have next. Next one is really fun, and it's kind of a new addition. This is going to sound really weird. This is going to be weird. I got myself a label printer, and this thing is only it's under $20, I think. And it's an app on your phone. It's real easy. I can't do it because I'm recording on my phone right now, but it streams right to your phone. I've never had a single Bluetooth issue or anything. You can get different label sizes and colors. And what I'm using this for is to label my syringes. So when I open the top, now I could put the date, but specifically when I'm constituting things, I put the date, what was the amount, what are the units that I would want to pull, and just make sure to label it, because otherwise I look at, and then what date did I constitute it, because you want to use it within a certain period of time. So I love this label maker, and what I've been doing is labeling everything for my kids, from their folders to their lunch boxes to their sweaters. My kids wear uniforms, and so I've been labeling their sweaters so that when they lose them, hopefully they don't get gobbled up by someone else. And so I am loving this label printer. Totally worth, I think I paid $18 for this. Totally worth the $18. And so now all of my vials are labeled really well. Okay, next. This is a very interesting one. It's an auto-injector, and this is for people who are uncomfortable with injections. This is kind of similar to if you bought name brand medication. Okay, it looks really complicated because it comes with all these pieces, but reality, this is all I do. I take this piece. This is the spring right here. I'm going to just use this. I'm not going to use the spring pusher that they gave us or whatever, and I just push it down. Then you look at the chart and it tells you for the needle length what letter to put it at. And then if you're using, I just realized I should be using this for my intramusculars. If you're using intramuscular, it has a different piece that goes on here so that you have the correct depth for your shot. You put your syringe. Oh, remember, that doesn't have a needle on it anymore. Not throwing needles around. Oh, where did that go? So you just drop your syringe in there, screw these together. There's no needle on this, so this is going to be okay. You would push it against the skin, and then you push the button, and there's a little window right here that shows it injecting. Anyway, usually it's kind of a slow, and it does make a noise, but I think the noise is the most violent part about it. Other than that, you honestly can't feel anything. So I love this. Is great for people who were on name brand, but they're moving to compounding, but they really liked the pen. This is so wonderful. And honestly, I remember somebody showing it, and I was like, I would never do that. And then I ordered one myself to try it, and it's so much easier than it looks, you guys. So I love the auto injector, great for newbies. And a good example would be, I bought it because my husband did not want to take any injections. So I said, it's fine. We'll use this auto injector so you don't even see anything. You don't see it piercing anything. You don't see the pinning. And so that's why I got it, was for him. I've actually bought 4 of these. So you can buy these a 2-pack on Amazon. It keeps things really nice and cold. It keeps it cold for a while. I buy the 40 ounces. These are thermo flask. I like the 2-pack because I fill the 2 up for the day, and I personally add my Coco Loco, my electrolytes that I like, and I add lots of ice. and I fill up 2 of them. And then I know if I drink these 2, I've drinking 80 ounces of fluid for the day. It is so important to keep up with your fluid on a GLP-1. GLP-1s do affect the kidneys. They affect your inflammation pathways. So we want to ensure that we're getting enough fluid in. Another thing is, as you're losing weight, you need fluid to flush those fat cells. You need fluid to ensure that you're detoxing. And also, some people struggle with constipation, so you got to keep your water up. So this is my way of ensuring I keep my water up, is filling up my 2. I actually ended up buying 2 packs of them, so I have 4, because they get slimy. So you've got to ensure that you are cleaning them. I bought a straw brush. Funny thing, this isn't on my Amazon. It's probably on my Amazon list, honestly, but straw brushes, I was just cleaning them. So make sure you're cleaning those daily. And so I like to have 2, so I can have 2 that I'm using and then have 2 that are in cleaning and drying. And I'm not just going back and forth, and it gives me some flexibility. So highly suggest you keep up on your fluids. Okay, the next couple of things I want to talk about are not going to be for everyone, but it's good to just plant that seed. Okay, so one is, if for some reason you're not getting the best sleep, some people sleep better on a GLP-1. Some people, for some reason, don't. So I suggest that you talk to your practitioner, or you consider researching best rest formula. This has been amazing for me, and it helped me between this and working with a hormone specialist to get myself some oral progesterone to get me to sleep through the night. It's got a little bit of melatonin, GABA, L-theanine, valerian root, lemon balm, hops, passion fruit, chamomile. So pretty easy stuff, and it's really made a big difference. So the next one, I just ate them all. I just took my last one, and that is DAO enzyme. This can also be called histamine. I'm going to link it down below. I get the one from Seeking Health, I think, with the little hummingbird. And what this does is it breaks down the histamine in your food as you're eating it. That's going to help you have less food reactions. It's going to clear out your histamine bucket. So if you're a person who's allergy prone in general, you're going to have hopefully less allergies to the environment and everything as you just clear the excess histamines out. So that's one of my favorites. That's just coming in and out of my life all of the time, especially if I'm eating out. We're going to be eating potentially aged food. I don't do well with aged food. So taking that assists my body breaking the histamine down so that I don't have these reactions and the fatigue after eating. So speaking of reactions, fatigue, eating, another great one is the HCl plus pepsin. This is going to help with digesting your food properly. So if you're having acid refluxes and you're having diarrhea and you just don't feel good when you eat, this really assists your body in breaking that food down. And so I absolutely love this one. It's a great one. Okay, the next one is for the constipation, but it's also an overall amazing supplement to have in your cabinet. A lot of people talk about this. I was just watching, his name will come to me. I love Magnesium Breakthrough. So I started taking these before bed, and before this, the poop was fine. I mean, it's been fine. I will poop like twice a week, maybe. I'd say twice a week is like the maximum. Since taking this, I wake up and I have a nice smooth move. And so this has been amazing. It has several different types of magnesium to support your body, help your body rest. It's got B6 in it. And then 7 or 8 different magnesiums, and then manganese. So I absolutely love these. Let me see. Okay, the next few, I'm going to have to take you with me. Okay, so the first one that I really suggest if you want to treat yourself because you're really excited about this journey and you just want to make sure you're going to succeed. And one wonderful, you're so excited for your journey and you're proud of yourself. Treat yourself to the Ninja Creamy. And the one that I'm going to put on my list, because this is what I bought, is the Ninja Creamy Deluxe. I don't know if that's necessary, but I love the Deluxe. It was sitting in the box for over a year because I was too lazy to pull it out and use it. And I recently pulled it out and it is amazing, you guys. It's so creamy and the texture is so good. And what's great is I can't eat ice cream because of my blood sugar issues and my gastric bypass. But this, I can use my keto chow protein. I add my heavy whipping cream. I add a little extra. I love to add cottage cheese, boost that protein, and just a little sweetener in there. And you just mix it, freeze it, you put it in there, and it is phenomenal. Okay, I'm afraid to show you guys my house, so don't look too deeply. Okay, The next one I think people, oh, that's not the light, should absolutely have is the Renpho scale. Now, mine is it's full of Epsom salt, to be honest, because I take a bath every single day. But I love the Renpho scale because it gives you, oh geez, there's my pads and everything. That's embarrassing. Okay, anyway, it gives you all your statistics and it feeds it right to your phone. So you don't have to keep track of your day-to-day. You can just step on there, let it take everything, let it track it for you, and call it a day. And then later on throughout your journey, you can look back at your trends. And that's really what I've done. Just close the door there. Scary room. That's what I've really done, is try not to pay attention to the numbers as much as just make sure that they are documented. Now, can I put this back in the exact same spot? That is a good question. So I highly suggest the Renpho scale. You can buy, that was the $65 one or whatever, but you can buy the cheaper one too. I feel like they both provide such great information. I don't know that there's that much difference other than the look of it, but it's something to help you gather the data, but not have to write it down and obsess about it and all that. It also can give you a general idea of where your muscle could be, so you can keep an eye on that number and ensure that you're not losing muscle. It's very interesting how I feel like it's accurate in consistency. It's consistent. So I bounce that against a DEXA scan and it's up about 5% body fat. But it consistently says that, and then it consistently went down throughout time. So because it's consistent, I still think it's a great tool. I think you guys are just about ready to get on your journey and be very successful and fully prepared and organized. If you guys have any suggestions, please put them down below for others so that they can be prepared. I'm always open to what else we might need. I mean, most of this is just keep it simple, honestly. A water bottle, a freezer pack, a couple syringes, but there's a few things that can just make your journey so much easier, smoother, and without stress of breaking vials or losing things or running out of syringes or anything like that. So if you like this content, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Goodbye.